Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Welcome back. For those of y'all who have been watching and all that, appreciate you guys for being here. There's going to be a press conference here in less than 30 minutes from now, covering this latest information that we now know, which is still very, very surprising, shocking, and great news, in my personal opinion, because it's a step closer to finding out what the truth is, what actually went down, how did this go down, and all this stuff, and us getting closer to finding out why did this happen? Why? And of course, there is a lot more to this. There's a lot of questions still going on here that we don't have 110% the answers for yet. And hopefully this particular person, this monster, has the answers. At least that's what we're hoping for. Okay? So, we're going to find out some stuff here, hopefully in the next half hour or so. But of course, we got some new information. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different things here. Okay? So, before we get into everything, hold on one second. Something. All right. So, of course, at a quick break, then hop back on here to give you guys the information that you need and to watch this conference with you guys as a family. And hopefully my internet will be nice. There's been storms going through quite a bit in my area and all that. So it has been a little shaky. It's been a little bit weird. And if it ends up being that it doesn't work out, then I will do my best to go live on this after the live and talk to you guys about what has been revealed in this press conference. And hopefully we get some stuff. Hopefully they give us some stuff, some much needed information. Okay. But before we jump into everything, before we get into this whole conversation, all right, if you guys are interested in a possibility of winning $100, please go download Swagit app. There's a link in the pin to the top of the family chat, and there's a link at the top of the description box down below. Click on that link, download Swagit app. It's a brand new social media app. All right. Follow me, The Pascal Show, one word. Comment on some of my videos, and you're instantly entered in to win 100 smackers, and the winner will be announced at the top of this coming month. All right? So go and download Swagit app right now. Follow me, comment on some of my videos, like some of my videos, and see if you win $100 at the top of next month. Okay? Anyway, also, please do me a favor while you're at it. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Send it past 400 likes. That would really mean a lot. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button. You know your boy's out here working hard out here in these streets to give you the information that you need for the day. Okay? So let's get into this, shall we? All right. As we know so far, we now know that they have a suspect. A suspect has been arrested in connection to this tragedy of the Idaho 4. Remember, this is Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. All 4 lives were lost on November 13th in a house a little off campus from the University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho. Now, the thing is we have been going through this like crazy. I mean, for weeks, we have been talking about this to exhaustion, okay? Trying to figure out what happened. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Right? And yet, we all kind of stepped out here with no new information, just completely lost. We've been looking at all kinds of photos, videos. Some people even leaked fake audio. Okay. We've been looking at everything under this, everything and then some. Okay. But nothing from what I've seen so far, at least the things that were leaked and put out on the internet, all right, in these rumor mills, in these rumor screets, okay, none of it prepared us for the information that we received today. None of it, except for one piece. And that piece was the white 2013 or 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. That was the only piece that they had that law enforcement put out there for the rest of the world to see. We were all lost. All of us. We have to keep it straight funky. We have all been out here looking like crazy, trying to find out who this person was, who are these person or persons were that did this unthinkable crime, that took the lives of these young kids. Every lane we went down took us down a wild and crazy path. And let me say this too. 5-0, they have the same problem, if not worse. They're still coming through thousands of emails, thousands of phone calls, thousands of tips. They've apparently conducted about 300 interviews so far. 300 individual interviews so far. Okay? And this is before this arrest that happened earlier today. Pretty wild stuff, y'all. Pretty wild stuff. Even so, I look at the photo, that most recent photo that we saw. Let me pull that up really quick. The screenshot of the security cam. Here it is. The screenshot of the photo of the security cam in the bar. Okay. We even have that, which of course everybody and their mom was dissecting, looking at, trying to see what the heck this was all about, so on and so forth. I mean, look at this. I mean, this photo alone, nothing in here it has any connection so far that we know of right now. None of it has any connection to the person that they have, to the suspect that they have in custody right now. As far as this photo goes, I don't see anything in this photo that gives off the vibe of, oh, that the guy in the corner is the guy. Whatever. Nothing. We have been led astray a lot within this, which has been absolutely crazy, right? So, and that's just one piece. That's just one photo. That is just one photo. All right. But now we do have somebody in custody, which is absolutely fantastic, wonderful news. So let's take a look at this really quick. A quick trip down memory lane as we wait for this news conference or this press conference from Moscow PD. I'm sure they're very, very proud of themselves. I'm sure they couldn't have done it without the help of FBI, without other law enforcement surrounding and being a part of this investigation. Given the fact that FBI was involved, it does give us the vibe that clearly they were, outside of that. They were looking outside of Moscow. I mean, obviously, this person wouldn't just stay in Moscow. They would have ran off. They would have kicked rocks. So now we have the guy, or we now have a suspect, a person of interest, a suspect arrested. His name is Brian Kohberger. He allegedly is the one who allegedly single-handedly took the life of these 4 young students. Now, here's a little bit of information on him, and because we already know what has happened to the 4, the devastating news, etc. But there is something that's interesting here. Okay, so Brian Kohberger is the suspect and criminology graduate student who's accused of the unalivings of the 4 University of Idaho students in Moscow, Idaho. That in this whole incident, this tragedy happened on November 13th, 2022. He was arrested. He's allegedly 28 years old. I've heard other reports saying he's 25, but he does look much older than 25 in my personal opinion. So he's 28 years old. He was arrested today, this morning, in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, apparently from what the court documents show. And I do have some court documents that I am going to share with you guys as well. His name was first confirmed by the WPVI in Philadelphia, a Philadelphia news station. His full name, Brian Christopher Kohberger, according to Monroe court records in Pennsylvania. That's what they say. And of course, authorities, including the FBI, the Pennsylvania State Police, and the Moscow Police Department, had tracked Kohberger and located him in Chestnut Hill Township, Monroe County, in Pennsylvania's Pocono Mountains region. A warrant accuses Kohberger of first-degree unaliving, or first-degree M, apparently from what this television station has reported. Now, News Nation Brian Enton posted the suspect's mugshot on Twitter. And of course, we have that mugshot. We've all seen it. For those of y'all who are late to the party, this is the mugshot that they have of him right now. Okay. And of course, Brian Enton, in one of his posts, arrest paperwork filed in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, shows 28-year-old Brian Kohberger is being held for extradition in a homicide investigation in Moscow, Idaho. And of course, Brian is on his way. He's probably on a jet right now as we speak, flying out there to go and cover this situation. And of course, News Nation will be covering the press conference, which will be happening here within the next 12 minutes or so. All right. And there's something else that Brian Enton did put up on Twitter as well that I am going to show you guys again as well, which is very interesting as well. But we already know he's facing extradition to Idaho over these charges. He is a graduate student at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington. All right. Pullman, Washington is less than 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Less than 10 miles, y'all. According to the WSU, Washington State University's website, he was pursuing a PhD in criminal justice and criminology. In college, he was a student investigator for a survey that explored people's actions, thoughts, and feelings when they committed crimes. According to WPVI, Kohberger, appeared before a Pennsylvania judge on December 30th, and the judge approved his extradition. Damn right. Get his ass back over there. One question in the study: why did you choose that victim or target over others? Another reads, after committing the crime, what were you thinking and feeling? These passings of, obviously we already know, have roiled through the campus town. Of course, these 4 students were found with knife wounds inside of a home and were likely attacked while sleeping, according to previous statements from the police, who created a website to round up all press releases, debunk rumors, and give out information as the community remained gripped in fear and true crime sleuths leapt into action. The passings were previously ruled homicides, according to the coroner. The biggest clue previously released by police was the fact that they were searching for a white Hyundai Elantra vehicle seen in the area on video. They announced that on December 7th. And of course, we already know the names of the victims, but I'll say them again. Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison, all their lives were taken inside of that house. 2 surviving roommates lived. They walked out unscathed, unbothered, which still makes me wonder a lot of things. Again, autopsies were conducted on November 17th. The coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 unalived individuals and their cause and manner of demise as homicide by, and I can't say that word, unfortunately, but you can see right there. The coroner stated the 4 victims were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each was attacked multiple times. There was no sign of SA, but of course, they were viciously attacked. Okay? Viciously attacked. Now, what's interesting, this is interesting, because this website, when I read this actual link, this actual website, it was a completely different piece of information. So they recently updated this mother lover. Let's keep it real. This is brand new, updated information here, y'all. Brand new, updated information. And we still have 8 minutes until that live press conference, okay? Just so you guys know. But this is new. I've never seen this. And of course, what I read to you just a second ago was brand new. I've never read that part. It was a completely different article. This link was a completely different article. But what's interesting about this is, number 1, here's one of the 5 facts. Kohberger, whose DNA matched DNA at the crime scene, I'm pausing on that hard real quick, because remember when I said, hey, I hope whatever they have is absolute 110% hardcore proof that this is the guy, because, you got to make sure that this ish sticks, right? Well, guess what? His DNA matched the DNA at the crime scene. And there's more. Had a blank, quiet stare when he was taken into custody near the Pocono Mountains, reports say. Now, what's interesting, and I agree, highly favored, okay? I completely agree. All right, DNA is everything, okay? That's a wrap, son. Proof is in the pudding right there. DNA shall always be undefeated. But the DNA matches the DNA, his DNA matches the DNA at the crime scene. I'm sure they're going to say the same thing at this press conference as well. But given the fact that that piece of information just came out, bombshell. We got him. Okay? No soul looking, having ass. All right, I'm sorry. But again, his DNA matched the DNA at the crime scene. He had a quiet, blank stare when he was taken into custody near the Pocono Mountains, reports say. Now, what's interesting is that there's some information, or there were some posts on Reddit that are very shocking that I'm going to show you guys here in just a minute. Because, of course, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit more information before we go into this press conference, okay? Just so you know. All right? When Kohberger was arrested, he asked, and this is what Brian Ensign posted. I showed this to you guys a couple hours ago on the breaking news segment of the show. But Brian Ensign posted this too. When he was arrested, he asked if anyone else was arrested. And then, of course, Brian is quoted saying, I'm told he had a quiet, blank stare when he asked if anyone else was arrested. So what we talked about yesterday or earlier, somebody said it in a super chat too. This could mean that there's more than just, this means there is a possibility of more than just one other monster. This could have been a group excursion, a group activity. It screams Manson to me. This screams Manson, if you get what I'm saying. Could it be that 3 people went in there? Anyone else was arrested? That could be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 4 people in that mug, all together doing God knows what, which is absolutely wild. Okay? Let's continue. According to CNN, citing sources, authorities discovered that Kohberger actually did own a white Hyundai Elantra, like the one near the homicide scene, and then matched his DNA to the DNA recovered at the crime scene. CNN reported the monster was being surveilled by a Philadelphia field team for 4 days. I wonder what they were covering. So NBC Philadelphia broke the story that a man was in custody in connection to the Idaho unalivings, and later also named him as Brian Kohberger. Man, this is insane. Court records obtained by Heavy, which is the article I'm reading right here, for the Court of Common Pleas of Monroe County shows that the extradition was filed for December 30th, the same day, against Brian Kohberger, the same day of his arrest. The suspect is being held at a county correctional facility with the destination location given as Monroe County Prison. His city was listed as Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, and the document says Brian Kohberger under alias. No bail information was listed. And this is just a little bit of the documentation. And of course, this is a miscellaneous docket. Of course, this is a file for extradition. It says Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Brian Christopher Kohberger. They're awaiting extradition. This was completed and filed today on the 30th. Okay. Back here real quick. Wow. So there it is. Status information. It was filed and completed on the 30th today. And so today he is still waiting. He is awaiting extradition. And yes, where he is being held right now, his confinement information, he's being held at the Monroe County Prison, the county correctional facility. And his birthday was just 8 days after the unalivings. November 21st, 1994 is his birthday. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Kohberger was referred to the NBC Philadelphia story as a person of interest. Authorities have not yet confirmed the arrest. NBC New York called the man a suspect in its headline. According to NBC Philadelphia, Kohberger is in custody in, well, we already know, Monroe County. Now, we already know about all this, but what's interesting is the more information that's coming out, obviously, the more we know, the more is going to be coming, the more that's going to be coming out here. I am going to be pulling up the press conference. Hopefully, they will have something live. Yep, they do. There we go.
Xana, Madison, and Kaylee. I want to personally thank these agencies for their assistance in this case. Koberger resides in Pullman,
I'm hoping this will be nice to me. If not, I'm probably gonna have to drop this quality like
Washington,
all the way down.
and is a graduate student at Washington State University. We will provide as much information
Dang, man. Hold on, guys.
as we can about the extradition to Idaho and the criminal process. However,
It's quality.
due to Idaho state law, we are limited in what information we can release today
It's buffering on most
until
channels.
Koberger has his initial appearance in Idaho court. I want to express my appreciation to our local community, the people of Idaho, and those throughout our nation who provided information to help us investigate these murders has been very impressive. We've received over 19,000 tips, and we've conducted over 300 interviews. To recap this case, on the evening of November 12th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at about 1:56 a.m. after visiting a local bar and street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were at the Sigma Chi house before arriving home around 1:45 a.m. The two surviving roommates had also been in the community but returned around 1 a.m. On the morning of November 13th, a 911 call was made at 11:58 a.m. reporting an unconscious person at the residence. The call came from inside the home from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. Moscow police responded and found 2 victims on the 2nd floor and 2 victims on the 3rd floor. On November 17th, autopsies were conducted and the Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 victims. The cause and manner of death was homicide by stabbing. Some had defensive wounds, and each had been stabbed multiple times. These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process. This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time, and we stand assured that the work is not done, but be assured the work is not done. This has just started. Since November, we have remained laser focused on pursuing every lead in our pursuit of justice for the victims and their families. I recognize the frustration with the lack of information that's been released. However, providing any details in this criminal investigation might have tainted the upcoming criminal prosecution or alerted the suspect of our progress. We will continue to provide as much information as we can as the process moves forward. Today, I want to specifically thank our dedicated Moscow Police Department detectives, patrol officers, the Idaho State detectives, the Idaho State troopers, and their crime lab technicians and scientists, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation for the resources and personnel to conduct this massive investigation. It was the dedication of them and the persistence and the numerous hours that led to an arrest. Fortunately, these highly skilled people worked together as a cohesive team to solve this case. I also want to thank our community,
I don't know. I don't know what just happened. It was rocking and rolling just fine. Let me see what's up here.
And it's sad to be here, but happy to be here at the same time.
I don't know why it's doing this. Every time that there's a big press conference, it's always when a storm comes through and jacks up all this crap.
And the investigators have to live with the restrictions that our Supreme Court places on pretrial publicity.
I'm hoping it'll just go back to normal, but we'll see.
That said, I promise you we will share with you through the court process or otherwise, whatever we are allowed to. I just appreciate your patience on that. The factual basis for the charges are summarized in what's called a probable cause affidavit that is on file with the court. According to the rules of the Idaho Supreme Court, that is sealed until Mr. Kohlberger is physically back in Latah County and has been served with the Idaho arrest warrant. At that time, we expect that that affidavit will be available to you so you can share the true facts with all of your readers and your watchers and your listeners and all of the people who are interested and really need to know what's going on. So please have patience with us on that. We hope to get that to you as soon as we can. As far as Mr. Kohlberger, I can share with you that he is a graduate student at Washington State University and has an apartment residence over at Pullman. He has had an initial appearance in front of a judge in Pennsylvania. He is being held without bond, and the warrant from our magistrate judge here also provides for no bond. We understand that he's scheduled to be back in court in Pennsylvania next Tuesday afternoon, and that a public defender has been appointed for him there. The process at this point is, since he was arrested in another state, he has the opportunity to either waive extradition and return voluntarily to the state of Idaho, or if he prefers not to waive extradition, then we will initiate extradition proceedings through our governor's office. If we do that, it can take a while for him to get here. So again, I'm asking for your patience and understand that's just the way the system works. Once he gets here, he'll have an initial appearance with our magistrate. They'll deal with issues such as making sure competent counsel is representing him, and the case will be scheduled for further hearings. Your primary source of factual information is going to be the court record, because that's what the Supreme Court says we need to refer you to. So please pay attention to what's going on in court and have people there to watch and hear what's being said. As an attorney, myself and my office, we are limited on what we are allowed by the courts to say outside of the courtroom. So please just work with us. Finally, as the chief indicated, this is not the end of this investigation. In fact, this is a new beginning. Y'all now know the name of the person who has been charged with these offenses. Please get that information out there. Please ask the public, anyone who knows about this individual, to come forward, call the tip line, report anything you know about him to help the investigators and eventually our office and the court system understand fully everything there is to know about not only the individual, but what happened and why. Next, I'll introduce Colonel Ked Wells from the Idaho State Police. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Kedrick Wills. I serve as the director of the Idaho State Police and certainly want to express our appreciation for your attendance here today. These tragic murders took 4 young, vibrant lives from our community. Nothing we do can bring them back. The only thing that we can do in law enforcement to honor their memories that we know of is to bring this to a successful conclusion. This has been a very difficult time for the families, the university, the community, and the state of Idaho. However, it is also proven that communities come together in tough times. Certainly appreciate the support of the local community and our national audience that has been following us as our investigators have worked through this case. I'm thankful also to you, the media partners, who have helped keep this case in the forefront that generates the tips and we hope will continue to generate information that will help us to a conclusion of this proceeding. I'd like to express our appreciation on behalf of the Idaho State Police to Chief Fry, his leadership, and the entire Moscow Police Department for the way that they handled this from the very beginning. He directed the right people to the right positions that led us to this conclusion today. I've had the utmost confidence in this investigation and in Chief Fry, as well as in Mr. Bill Thompson and the Latah County Prosecutor's Office, who've been a great partner throughout this. Nothing has deterred the commitment of the investigators who've worked on this case, regardless of the organization they represent. It's been very trying and very difficult, as you know, that it has been on those investigators as they do the tedious work that they're so good at doing. The partnerships is what's led here as well. The partnerships between Moscow Police Department, I'd like to express our appreciation with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, specifically the special agent in charge out of the Salt Lake City Division, Dennis Rice, and also the work that happened in the last 24 hours in Pennsylvania with the arrest with the Pennsylvania State Police and Colonel Evanchik with the Pennsylvania State Police. We appreciate what they've done across the nation to help us as well. As Bill shared, this investigation is far from over. In fact, I appreciate what he shared, that this is not an ending, but rather a new beginning. The difference now is, as he shared, that we are dictated what information we can share by the court process and by laws in our state of Idaho. And so we will share, as he shared, Mr. Thompson is absolutely committed to share everything he can share through the court process. We've got to make sure that we don't get in front of that process. And we really deeply appreciate everybody's support here. The relationships that were forged here and the partnerships that were forged have led to this. And based on that is why we're here today. And we continue to believe that the best way we can honor these 4 lives that have been taken is to make sure that we have a successful outcome here. One of the partnerships that's been forged throughout this is a partnership with the University of Idaho. And on that, I'd like to introduce the president of the University of Idaho, Mr. Scott Green.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Scott Green, President of University of Idaho. Today's news of arrest is a welcome one. It's relief to our university, our community, and our extended Avondale family. The outpouring of support over the past 6 weeks helped sustain us during the most trying time. It provided the strength that helped us navigate the international scrutiny visited on our students and employees. We are truly thankful for the compassion and acts of kindness shown to our community. Kindness is contagious, and it provided the light that reclaimed ground lost to evil and darkness. We first want to acknowledge and thank Governor Little for the early promise of financial support that enabled the university to secure our campus and focus on helping our students and our employees in the wake of the crimes. We also appreciate the Idaho State Police and the highly visible security presence that brought comfort and calm to a community shocked and confused by the senseless crimes. We never lost faith that this case would be solved and are grateful for the hard work of the Moscow Police Department and their law enforcement partners. Vast and committed FBI resources brought important expertise to this complex case. Across the board, dedicated, highly competent personnel worked this case to arrest. This crime has nevertheless left a mark on our university, our community, and our state. While we cannot bring back Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, we can thoughtfully and purposefully carry their legacy forward in the work that we do. Our students come first, and that was proven each and every day of this investigation. We are committed to safely delivering the college town atmosphere, campus experience, and high-touch quality education for which the University of Idaho is known. With time, we will heal. We will move forward together, and we will remain Vandal strong. With that, I'd like to turn it back over to Chief Fry.
So now we will open the floor to questions. However, I want to remind everyone, as Prosecutor Bill Thompson explained, any factual information regarding the arrest of Kohberger is currently sealed per Idaho law and will not be released until he has appeared in an Idaho court. Please formulate your questions accordingly. I recognize there are a lot of questions, and I will try to answer as many of them as I can.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting, Spokane Public Radio. I realize the records are sealed. I guess I'm not too familiar with how it works, but can you tell us what tip, what lead, what piece of evidence really led you all the way from Idaho to the suspect in Pennsylvania?
As I've said in the past, that's part of our investigation, and we won't be releasing that at this time. We will have those answers. We'll have them as soon as we can make those available to you.
Then a quick follow-up and a two-parter. Is our community safe, or is law enforcement still on the search for other suspects who might be involved in this attack?
What I can tell you is we have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes, and I do believe our community is safe, but we still need to be vigilant, right? We still have talked about this in the past. We always need to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're aware of what's going on.
Hi, Chief. How soon into the investigation did police and law enforcement begin to spot Mr. Kohberger as a potential suspect? And a follow-up, how many tips, if you can say, were specifically related to Mr. Kohberger?
To the tip part, honestly, I can't answer that question, so I'm not even going to speculate on that. On the other part, that's part of our investigation, and it will come out. I'd like the mic to please come right over here.
Thank you. Dana Griffin with NBC News. Can you confirm that Kohberger asked whether or not anyone else had been arrested when he was in custody?
I cannot confirm that, or I'm not sure of that information, but that would still be a part of our investigation.
Did CODIS initially return any hits on this guy?
That's still part of our investigation. That will come out. If we could get somebody over here, please.
And then one final question. Is there any message to the online sleuths who slandered and harassed people who they believed were responsible?
There was a lot of speculation going on, and we've always said from the very beginning that we're the official message that comes out, and to pay attention to what we're putting out there to the press.
I'm Nancy Liu with News Nation, and we were over at the house this morning, and you told us that the remediation would begin today. It was suddenly stopped. Can you tell us why?
Yes. The house cleanup has been halted, and that came by a legal request from the court.
Christina Corbin, Fox News. Chief, have you identified a motive?
That is part of the investigation, and that will come out as we continue the investigation. But what we still ask is for people to continually send us things in the tip line. We are still looking for more information. We're still trying to build that picture, just like we have stated all along. We're putting all the pieces together, and that will help.
Chief Veronica Miracle with CNN. Any indication that the suspect knew the victims?
That's part of the investigation as well. It won't be something that will come out at this point in time, but as we continue the investigation and as this case goes to trial, that will be brought forth.
Have you spoken to the families? Can you tell us what they've told you today?
Are you talking the victims' families? Yeah, we have reached out to the victim's family as we always do. We've done that daily, and we've continued to have contact with them.
Broken record.
Hey, Nate Sanford. You mentioned earlier that you're still seeking tips about Brian and that people should still share whatever information they have. Can you speak at all about what specifically people should be reaching out for, like if they know something?
I would say anything and everything. As we've said all along, we know what tips we're looking for. We will take those tips and we will have professionals look at those and decide which pieces of those we need to use for our case. So we ask that everybody would do that.
Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. Your department and other investigators on the case took a lot of flack for keeping information close to your chest. Are you glad that you did that? And were you worried about tipping the suspect off?
I will 100% stand behind the way that we handled this investigation. And this all started from day one with our patrol officers arriving on scene, locking down the scene, us calling in the Idaho State Police, us calling in the FBI, and keeping information that was pertinent to this case very, very tight. We want to have a situation where when this goes to trial, there is no doubt that we've done everything right and we've slowed down and we've continued to slow down. We'll continue to do that.
Hey, Chief. Have you guys found the murder weapon or the Hyundai Elantra?
So we are still looking for all pieces of evidence, but we are still looking for the weapon. And I will say that we have found an Elantra.
Stephanie Becker with CNN. Can you tell what it was like when you got the phone call when the police told you that they had your suspect?
I can tell you for a lot of law enforcement, it was a fairly sleepless couple of days with as we were leading up to everything that we were doing. But what I can tell you is I have faith in those agencies across the nation. I have faith in our officers. I have faith in the FBI, and they did a great job. But sure, there was some times, even throughout the day, that we were always concerned.
Hi, Chief. Don back at CBS News. Can you talk a little bit more about the suspect's connection to Pennsylvania?
All I know is that he lives in Pennsylvania.
Chief Guy Tannenbaum from Nonstop Local KHQ in Spokane. More about the Elantra. We saw reports that you mentioned that you recovered an Elantra, but can you specify where that was found? And we know that that was one of the biggest pieces of information you were asking from the public to tip. Were you able to provide an information on whether those tips led to this seizure of an Elantra?
That's still part of the investigation that will come out in the future.
Broken record.
Chief,
They should just wrap it up.
Idaho Public Radio here in Moscow. The additional police presence in town and on campus, semester's coming. Is that going to continue?
You will continue to see state troopers in the area. You know, we're talking to Latah County as well. You will see a presence of us that we're always have up on campus. We have assigned officers to that. So you will continue to see a law enforcement presence. I'm going to take two more questions.
Hi, Chief. Julie Scott, ABC News. Can you tell us if you eventually had a license plate number to the Elantra and how you tracked it to Pullman?
That's still part of the investigation that will come out.
Chief, hi, Matt Lovelace with the Murrow College of Communication. I want to ask about Mr. Koberger as a graduate student at WSU. Are you aware of if he returned to campus after November 13th? And have you had any communication with departments on the WSU campus about his attendance?
So some of that is going to be followed up as we continue our investigation. We'll be asking some of those questions, but that'll come out in the near future. So what I do want to do is I want to thank you all. You really have been the national voice for us. You've given us the opportunity to get many, many tips, and I do appreciate everything you've done, and we'll continue to look forward to working with you in the future on this. So I'd like to thank you for that and thank you for your time.
All right, we just had an update there from investigators in Idaho. We just heard from
from the Moscow, Idaho Police Chief, James Fry. They're giving us an update about today's breaking news, the arrest of the suspect here in this murder. We've learned that suspect, Brian Koberger, 28 years old, was arrested early this morning in Pennsylvania he was arrested this morning
of Idaho and working with the governor.
Wow. Wild stuff, guys. Wild stuff. And I apologize for the low quality. The internet in this area, the reception here is bad right now. So I apologize. Hopefully it'll be better later on. But Brian Koberger is the one who's been arrested. And this is all we have. I commend 5-0 for doing their due diligence, working so hard, doing the job, trying to cover as much as they can. Yes, they did play a lot of things close to the vest, as they like to say. They played a whole lot close to the vest. And I don't blame them for doing what they had to do. I must have felt like these individuals, or the information was going to come out or get out to the person that they were trying to get. And now we see, without a shadow of a doubt, something that they had, his DNA, connected to the DNA in that crime scene. I will say this, though. I feel like we said more in this show than they actually said in this press conference. We had more information from the articles that I read than they actually gave out here in this press conference. And again, we're back to the whole broken record thing. Oh, we're still working on that. It's part of the investigation. We can't talk about that. And I understand that. I'm not knocking that part. Okay. They're still doing things. And you got to remember, this person hasn't been tried yet. This person hasn't even been extradited to Idaho yet, to Moscow, Idaho yet. Nothing's happened yet. Right. This piece of work they're still working on extradition right now. And then he's going to catch all kinds of charges once he gets his feet on Idaho soil. But for right now, they still need to get him from point A to point Idaho. All right. So I get it. Them not saying much, not saying anything, because they don't want to screw up what the trial could unravel, what information could come out. And also, they haven't come out with anything yet. All they know is the DNA matches the DNA. His DNA matches the DNA in that house. I'm sure they haven't even begun to interrogate him, to investigate, to give him a hard time, to ruffle his feathers so that he starts squawking, right? He's only been incarcerated. He's only been detained from what I hear, from my understanding, it was like 3 a.m. when they raided his home or wherever he was in the Pocono Mountains. If that's the case, shoot, they still got a lot more work to do with him, unless he's already talking, and he might not. He might not be. So we're going to see when he gets extradited. Once he gets extradited, it's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a completely different conversation. But I'm sure they're holding a lot of things down, holding a lot of things quiet until they can actually put all these charges on him and see him in court. And Idaho does do death penalty. I'll say it. They do. So this man, this monster, could be looking at the state deleting him. Let's keep it real, for these crimes that he's committed, allegedly. But from what I'm hearing, if his DNA matches, shoot, it's a wrap. But I still got questions, though, then. Still. Did he know these girls? What the hell's going on here? Did he know that house? Was this just a random act? What is this? Why did he do this? So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. But this is very interesting information, nonetheless. Very interesting information. There is something I wanted to show you guys, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know how much of this is true or not, but I wanted to share it with you anyway, because you guys are family. And I wanted to share that with you. Hold on. I need to pull this up before, before we wrap up and call it a doggone day. It's just so crazy to me what people have, what's been said out here. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure I have it. I have a screenshot of it somewhere else. Hold on. Now, this was something that was put up. This is insane. And this is language I don't really like at all. But allegedly, they're saying that this was Brian posting this. So just quick heads up. This is graphic language here, guys. Graphic language TW. All right. But apparently this was something that was posted on the 12th of December. Okay. Giving some very interesting information that I can't even believe. Okay. But allegedly they're saying that Brian Kohberger posted this on Reddit. Okay. So I'm going to read this really, really quick. I'm going to be, I can't even read this out loud. But I hung there such and such from a ceiling fan and shoved my up hiding in the woods in Ishhole, PA. Hiding in the woods in Ishhole, PA. Good luck catching me. This was posted allegedly Monday, December 12th, 2022. Now, this could be something that is absolutely fake. Okay? Somebody could have doctored this and made this be what it is, but that is something else that I received from earlier show when I broke the news about this monster being arrested. Now, if that piece right there is truth, this piece of work was posting things onto Reddit, talking all kinds of crazy stuff, if that is true. Again, I will say, there's a lot of fake-ish floating around here, revolving around this particular case. So I say look at that and take that with a grain of salt. All right? Take that in stride, because we don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is false. And Lisa White, I have a feeling that it probably is fake. But that's something that people have been messaging me, emailing me on, and all that stuff. Like, oh my God, he was hiding in plain sight. He was on these forums saying all this kind of stuff. If that is him, then I'm shocked. If it's not, then I'm shocked too. Right? Because some people got a lot of time on their hands pulling up this kind of BS. But I do want to show you guys one last time. Mugshot, blammo. This is the piece of work right here. Brian Kohberger. This monster has been detained. He has been arrested. He is in the custody of the Pennsylvania police. All right now. He is about to be extradited to Moscow, Idaho, to face the music, to face and deal with the things that he has done. Again, I want to point another thing out, though, too, that was being said. And I'm going to pull this up from Brian Enton if I can find it again. Ooh, I think I do have it. I don't. Hold on. There is something else. Where is that? Where the heck is it? There it is. Another thing I just wanted to show you guys, just a quick reminder. He said in a tweet, I am told when this monster was taken into custody, he asked if anyone else was arrested. And then he said, I am told he had a quiet and blank stare. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Oh, there we go. Somebody mentioned me. Hey, that's kind of nice. Asking if anyone else was arrested. Did someone help him? Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. You see what I'm saying? But this is absolutely nuck and futz, guys. This information, all this stuff that we've just found out as of recently. And it's a thing. Should Moscowians, okay, Mosconians, I guess, should they still be nervous? Should students, U of I students, go back after the new year, after their winter break? Should they go back? Are the people of Moscow safe? Or are there other people out here that were involved in this crime, in this tragedy? That's the question I guess we're still all going to have to sit here and wonder for ourselves. And we might not ever get that answer. And maybe we might. We will get that information. I don't know. All I can say is I'm hopeful that they got somebody right now. They got one of them. Moscovites? Okay, Joe H. Moscovites. I'll rock with that for a little bit. But like I said, does this mean that everybody in Moscow, the Moscovites, the Mosconians, okay, are they still safe or not? Danae just said, Danae N, hopefully I'm saying your name right, but he was Kaylee's stalker. You know, maybe he was. Maybe he was. And maybe he wasn't. You never know. And true, he could have been another stalker that maybe was just hiding better than the other stalker. You see what I'm saying? And that's a possibility. It's just so strange. It is just so wild to me, this whole thing. All of this is just insane to me. All right. And yes, Tony B, he was following both girls. Allegedly, he was following both girls on IG as well. But I'm understanding that his IG account is deleted now. His social media has been deleted, but I have yet to look at that myself, which I will make sure I take a look at here in a little bit. All right. But I'm feeling that this may be a little bit more than just him, too. Claudia Svensson, I do feel that he may not have done this alone, especially if he's sitting there saying, I mean, come on. He really just walked in and said, as he's getting arrested, and said, if anyone else was arrested. If he said that, clearly he had a partner in this thing. He clearly had a partner in crime. Clearly. Troll Hunter said, dude really doesn't answer any questions, so why even allow questioning? That's kind of how I feel about it too. Like, if you're not going to answer questions, just sit there and say, yes, this is all the information we have. God bless you. Good night. And leave. And exit left. You know what I'm saying? Don't do this extra-ish. Let's sit down and talk. Ask me questions. When all the questions you're going to say are going to be a broken record of, we can't talk about that. It's still under investigation. We can't do this, that, and the third. We can't talk about that right now because it's still under investigation. If it's still under investigation, then say that in the beginning. Say, hey, we can't answer any questions right now because everything's still under investigation. This is all the information we can give you right now. Have a good rest of your day. We have a suspect in custody right now. Thumbs up. We'll let you know when he comes into town. See you then. That's it. And leave. Right? Exit stage left. That's it. But they didn't do that. It's weird. But they clearly were waiting. They wanted a white Elantra, a Hyundai, which they got. He drove it. His DNA allegedly was in that car. They were able to use that DNA to connect him to this tragedy. Boom, done. Bob's your uncle. Move on. We'll let you know more in another press conference as he gets extradited to Idaho. Done. Right? Right, Raven McCall. Exactly. We got our man. Bye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bye. You know what I'm saying? See you soon. Let you know when things are popping off. You know? They just need me. I'll just be their hype man and be like, yo, we about to let you know when it's popping off. Let's go. You see what I'm saying? Now get out of here, reporters. Good luck. You know what I mean? Real quick, Nisa Marie, thank you so much for the 5. He could have said that to distract. He could have said that to distract the officers. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? One thing. Like it's he. There's so much that could have been said there that wasn't said. But I get it that they're holding information because they don't want to screw anything up because it's still an ongoing investigation. They only have one person, and if there's more, this is their way of saying, we got one of them, guys. We're coming for the rest if there are more. But I did find it interesting, the questions that were asked about online sleuths. I thought that was really funny to me. Like, what do we have to say about the Dana from NBC News? What do you say about the online sleuths that are putting out all the slander on other people's names? It's like, you don't even need to say any of that. Like, you don't. You don't. But I also feel that mainstream media, mainstream news outlets and stuff keep on trying to give jabs to us internet reporters, us internet content creators, us internet true crime sleuths out here, just to try to make it seem like we're out here trying to muck things up. No, I don't think so. I think a lot of these reporters on mainstream media are looking to us and looking to our content to figure out what they're going to talk about that day too. Countless episodes I've seen on numerous news stations saying this, talking about this case and talking about the same stuff over and over again. It'll be a whole title. It's been 5 days since you see what I'm saying? But then 6 weeks later, it'll be the same title, same topic, with nothing in the video except it's been 6 weeks since the unalivings of these 4 young college students, and we still have nothing. It'll be that for 6 weeks. Same content, just change the number at the front of the title. Literally. I do think it's funny. What do you say about the internet sleuths? Like, come on, man. Come on. Sometimes the internet sleuths are the ones that are breaking the news faster than the actual news themselves. Let's keep it straight 100 real quick. Let's keep it a buck. All right. You need us, we need you. Period. We lean on each other like this. That's it. That's it. We all just need to learn to get along. Lisa White, thank you so much for the 5. Psychopaths always think they are smarter than anyone. True. They love playing games with law enforcement. They get off on it. That's very, very true. It does kind of make me think like 7-ish. You know, even though, damn, that's such a good movie. But now we got that. Now it's Kevin Spacey, and that feels terrible. But damn, is that a good movie? And it's a crazy cat and mouse game type thing. And he's like, oh, catch me if you can type thing. And those kinds of monsters are out here. Like, oh, I just got away with the most, incredible crime ever. I walked out unscathed. I walked out leaving no traces of nothing. It was clean in and out. And I think that's what's going on with this piece of work, BK, right now. Let's keep it straight, Falkies. He probably thought he was impenetrable, invincible, could not be caught. But if he really thought that he couldn't get caught, why did he kick rocks to Pennsylvania? That's a question that I have to ask. Unless they said, we're looking for a white Elantra, and he said, oh, snap, and then jumped in the car and kicked rocks. That could be it too. He could have been sitting there chilling, grilling, watching the crime scene from afar while he's grilling out on his porch. Could have been. Anything's possible. Tiffany Goodman, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. He had to be fingerprinted for his career/school. That's true. He left fingerprints. He didn't have the intention of killing 4. Things got too messy. That could be it too. I keep thinking that maybe. Yeah, I agree, Tammy. I think that maybe. My theory, now that we have somebody involved, I think that maybe he went to the 3rd floor. He did the unthinkable. And as he's going down the stairs, I think that's when he ran into Ethan and Xana or both of them. Because that place is the walls are so thin. Why would he just randomly walk into the room of the lovers of Xana and Ethan? To me, it just doesn't make sense. That part doesn't make sense to me. But I feel that the only part that does make sense is if Ethan went out to, he's the man. I'm sorry to say it like that. No offense, ladies. I'm not trying to be like a toxic masculine dude or anything. I'm just saying most of the time, if there's a noise or a rapping on someone's chamber door and you don't know who it is and your girl is nervous, most of the time it's the guy that gets up and checks on the noise, okay? And I think that maybe that's what happened. He opened up the door, went to see what was going on, what the noise was, to find either it was Brian, like BK, this monster, or it was another monster. And then, of course, sad things happened. That's what I think. But yeah, something unthinkable, something devastatingly bad happened. I think that Ethan heard something, got up to check on the noise. Because literally he was the man of the house. In that house at that time, he was the only boy. So he went to go check on it. And I think that this monster, this piece of work did something terrible to him. And then, of course, I think Xana saw, and then, you saw what I'm saying? I mean, but that's my theory. Now that we actually have an actual person, a suspect, arrested. But if there is, as they said right here, if he said, if anyone else was arrested, have mercy. that tells me something else. That says something else could have been going down, babies. So we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. Okay. Wow. Crazy stuff, y'all. Crazy stuff indeed. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all you guys for being here, being a part of the conversation. I feel like there's a lot that we still have to like go through in our minds. We still kind of have to digest all of this. I think that as soon as we get more information from law enforcement, from reports, etc., those things will be coming out over the weekend, over the next couple of days, so on and so forth. And obviously, it's going to be going on for the next couple of weeks too. So we ain't done with this trial yet, or this case yet. We haven't even seen trial yet, right? So we'll see what happens here. But again, this is great news. This is great news. The other thing is if I do a call in, I might do that later on this evening. Okay. These two shows were very impromptu, didn't know, and I got some things I got to take care of. So when I do that, I will be doing if I come back on later on this evening, I will do a call in segment for the show for sure. Okay. Just not right now. All right. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Anyway, it is time to get going, but please do not forget to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. And again, if you want to win $100, please go click on that link in the comment section down below or in the description box. There's also in the comment section in the family chat right now, pinned to the top. Click on that link. Hit that link. Swag it. Download that Swag It app. Follow me on The Pascal Show. Comment on some of my videos. Like some of my videos. All right. And you're instantly entered in to win 100 smackers. Okay. It's that simple. All right, guys. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. I appreciate every single last one of y'all. I will most likely be on later on this evening. So be sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I go live or if I upload, because there's some other new information popping off on some other stories that I pushed all aside so we could talk about this specifically. So I'm going to try to do as much catch up as I can over this weekend. We got things to talk about, y'all. So be on the lookout for that anyway. It is time to get going. Love all y'all. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We got them, guys. We got them. Now let's find out the truth, right? This is The Pascal Show. Bye.